So that's the sub-sill, which has brought the house, which was a parallelogram, at least this bit is now square. So we've put the sill in, as you can see. Now, it did when we started. Once you've got a clean surface to run on and it's level, then putting the sill in is actually super easy. It's just getting there that's the hard bit. So it's Monday morning, everything is still here, and what we're going to be doing today is cutting in the pulley styles that we made. We've made them deliberately oversized. So the first thing we want to do, that it absolutely fits perfectly, is we take a block of wood and we simply draw a line. That now gives us the correct angle, and it also means that we know exactly where this is going to fall. So that's going to be okay there, but all we have to do is take it off to that mark there. Yeah, so that to that mark there, and that way we get the correct angle for the base. So this is the right hand side, and when we go over to the other side, which I think I already marked one. So slide that in there. Yeah, so it's in nice and tightly. This will become very apparent when we cut it in a few minutes. We can now take these out because they will be used later on once we've got the styles to fit. So we mark that as the. I'm working one-handed today because my winning helper isn't coming until much later. So I've marked that as the left-hand side. I've marked the other one as the right-hand side so that I don't get confused. Yeah, and now we take them downstairs and cut them. This is extraordinarily easy to do. All you've got to do is just think it through and do it one section at a time. Don't rush. There's no need to rush. You just do it one section at a time, and it all works out in the end. Now, before you cut the main style, the real styles, take your templates and make sure they fit. Yeah, and as you can see, it follows the line everywhere. There's a gap there, but that is done deliberately on this, so that I've got plenty of wiggle room. And then afterwards, when I do the real thing, I know to where to cut, because I'm going to make a mark. Which tells me where to finish. On the other side, we've done exactly the same thing, and in there you can see where the mark is. So we now have two templates. Don't trust your templates. This takes you to very, very close to where it should be, but it's the final fitting that counts. Remember, we're working in the field, not on a workshop bench, so everything is different on site, because nothing is ever quite what it might seem. So we've got that on there. What we're going to do is we're going to take that down to the mark, which is there, and we're going to mark the sash. So once it's done, before it's all tightened down, it should look like that. This is still loose, but it shows what it should look like at the end. there, pocket. Everything is working fine. There you have it before it goes into the head, and there you have it before it goes into the foot. What we do is we put some CT1 top and bottom because just as an added precaution, so that everything seats nicely. As you can see there, we need to take them out so that we can put a new piece in. Now, although everything fits, we've still got to check that things are running parallel before we start building the sashes. This is the difference between working in a joinery shop and working in the field. These are bound to be out, so we need to check it first. Now we could measure, and again, if you were in a joinery shop you probably would, but there's a much better way to do it. So as I said, you could measure it top and bottom and in the middle, and the likelihood of you getting it, one of the three measurements wrong is very easy. However, one bit of stick, put it in at the top. Now, take a hammer. You now have a constant. If that's all the way down, then it means everything is going to run parallel. So you put that in the middle, and as you can see, remember it was nice and tight at the top. So what we have to do is we have to move ever so slightly to try and compensate for that gap. Now, otherwise what happens is that the sashes bind. Now we know that the head is in the original position because we put the stiles absolutely in that groove, and that's why that groove is very important on either side. Trench, dado, call it what you want, it's the same thing. So that's what that is. So what we do is we take this down to here, and we know that we've got about a 1/16th to an 18th of an inch gap there. Down the bottom, we know that we've got about between an 1/8 and a 1/4 of a gap there. No, not quite a 1/4. So what we've got to do is we've got to bring both of these stiles in slightly so that the sashes will run true. Stop. So in order to get it nice and tight, what we're going to do is we're going to put a screw in about there. Take the hammer, wherever the hammer is, I'm sitting on it, and we pull the whole thing out. Now we know that that is absolutely in the right position. Now before we go any further, what we do is we put a screw in the outside to hold it in place. It doesn't matter what size it is, it's only there. That's right. So into here, and you'll see that there's still a slight gap. So we put another screw in. Pull that out. That is what we want. Now all we're going to do is lightly screw these in. These are the screws are far too big, but it's literally just just to hold things in place. Then we go up to the middle, and hey presto, that's nearly spot on. That is as good as you need to be. Yeah, that's all right there. But what we'll do is we'll take another screw. We'll put it above the pocket. Put that. That was a silly move. Give me another one. Again, same thing. We know that that side is true. Now, so all we do is we pull that out. That's it. That's all we needed. And that way you know that everything is going to run through. And that is why you should always use the head, not always, but mostly use the head as a datum point, as Mark up in Cheltenham would say. He's an engineer, so he was come to this. Right, so now what we've got to do is screw it together properly. We know everything is holding, we know everything is square, we know that everything is tight, so now we can start to screw everything together. In an ideal world, we do it with nails, with cut nails, but because the box is so distorted, what we're going to do is we're going to use lost head screws. But what we do is we use stainless steel lost head screws so that they don't leave a mark. Take that out of there. Put that in there. Oh, shut up. Put that in there. Now, no, the other ones, the lost heads down the bottom. The stainless steel ones.
What, the 32s or the 45s?
32s are really good enough. Yeah. And all we do is we screw the thing together. Don't screw into the pocket. Screw above it and below it, but not into it. Actually, could you get the clamp, a clamp? I want to clamp this together. Just because. Right, can I get you to screw those in? Mm-hmm. Right. That we know is the full width of the opening. The head is so far out that we have to put a new head in. At some point or another, probably when they did the original window, the Inset window, the frame was so far out of true that they had to jam bits in. We can't get them out. We can't force the head back up. It literally tilts like that. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to put a new head in. And the original head is still there. The original head still works. It's just it's so far out of true we can't correct it easily. So what we're doing is we are going to add another head to it. So far, that, as you can see, is the width of that. So what will happen is we've So what we're going to do is we're going to add a strip. That's still, well, that's, no, that needs to be a little bit. There. Make that a tiny, tiny bit looser. That's good. Right, this is going to be the new head. It's exactly the same width as the top of the original head, and what we're going to do, that's going to be planted on, and then we are going to level it out until the head is square, then pack it out on one side and then in between. Sorry, are we in the way? Oh wait, wait a minute, I'll get out of the way. Right, let's go upstairs and sort this out. Right, what we're going to do is, because the head is so far out, we've tried to force it up, wouldn't go. So what we're going to do is we're going to put another head in underneath that one to make sure that it's square. Otherwise we'll have to ruin the sash, build the sashes wonky, which is not something we want to do. So we've cut that on the saw downstairs, you saw that. You must get this the right way round, because that is a match for this. So that afterwards we can put the draft stripping in here, where the parting bead goes, and it'll make everything much tighter. So that goes in there, that goes in there. Now this has got to be a nice tight fit. So it goes up as high as it can go on one side. We tried to force this up, the head up, but that wasn't to be. So that is how far out the head is. More or less. We're going to find out in a second. Have you got the spirit level, please? So in order to correct this, what we've done is we've put in this as a header. Yeah. We've attached it at the far end where the problem is, and what we've done is that we've fixed that. That was the fixed point. We've then taken a level and taken it across, and then on this side we've got two screws there. We have altered it up and down until that is level. You'll notice that there's nothing in there at the moment. That's going to be filled with shims shortly, and then all we've got to do is the middle one, and these are all going to disappear. Now, could you get me the, oh, that's downstairs, isn't it?
What?
The width, the bit of Moranti that we use as
Yes.
a width. Can you... So, that is the heading. As you can see on that side, there's a huge gap. That's the original head, or the original head there, and it goes down to that. So what we've got to do is we've got to disguise that. And the way we disguise that is with another piece of wood. Right, on the inside, that's the head, which we know to be level. On the outside, give me the... we know that it's anything but level. Now, in order for the window to close properly and it to be weather tight, we need to compensate for that gap there and that gap there, plus the 16mm drop. So what we've done is we've cut a bit of Moranti, that's a hardwood, and we've cut it, if I can find it, there it is. We've cut it, that's the one end which is long, and it goes down to that. And now Mark will watch me put it in place. And when I put it in place, the theory goes, oh, by the way, what we've done is to make sure that the water runs off. If you'll notice that there's a little drip ledge there. It's not a ledge, it's just, it drips off without being able to run back. So we put one bit in there, we put one bit in there, we tap it into place, we tap it up, and now, by the miracle of modern science, and thank God to the laws of Newton and Einstein, it now runs parallel. We now have a parallel head, which is what we want. Ta-da! Right. All we've got to do is screw this in place. Dead easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So, now frame is in place. Just needs to be smartened up. What's going to happen is we're going to take the pulleys out. Everything is going to have 2 coats of aluminium wood primer. It's my favourite stuff. Once the aluminium wood primer has been put on, the first coat, then what we'll do is we will come back, fill where necessary, and then they can put a second coat on, or even a third coat. You would hardly know that there was a problem with the head. So once the primer has been put on, then we'll put a cover over that so that it keeps everything weatherproof. That's how much out it was. That's how much it was at one end, and that's how much it was at the other end. But now the head is square. So what we've done is we've taken the pulleys out because the painter is going to come along this afternoon and put the first coat of aluminium wood primer on everything that you see. That's all the bare wood. Now, we're getting there finally. So the painter has been, and it is now primed, and already it looks just so much better. Yeah. So the next stage is to build the sashes.